this video, I gather you got some little kids at home, a child or 2 or 3 or more, and you're studying. You're studying for something very important. You've taken the leap to do something with your life and to educate yourself. But those children really make things harder, don't they? And as much as they are blessing in disguise, when studying for any exams, it is very challenging and difficult, not only to find the time, but also to study when they're running around. So how do you do it? How do you pass your exams? How do you study while having the children? Well, watch this video and I'll give you 6 tips on how to study when having the children. So you might be thinking, who is this lady talking to me about it? What does she know? Well, I have 3 children at home. I am fully qualified accountant. I have qualified as Chartered Certified Accountant 2019, and also in April 2021, which is just last month, I've managed to gain my Transport Manager CPC qualifications. I've also got a degree in accounts, so I do hold quite a lot of educational achievements, and while this was happening, I've had children. So I did have to find a few ways to kind of make sure that I am staying on top of my studies and also be a mummy, work full time and look after my house. By the way, I've got a really good article for you to read on my website, which is mumcandoit.com. I will link it in the description below, which is called 6 tips on how to study when having a children. I really recommend you to read it. Also, I have recently done a podcast or kind of a video with ACCA tutor who is teaching on his channel on how to study, how to approach ACCA, and also specific questions about the papers that you need to pass in order to qualify as an accountant. So if you wanted to check it out, I will also link it in the description below. In this video, I am also giving the tips on how to study with children, but this one is specifically tailored for ACCA. However, today I'm just going to in general talk about how to study when having the children, because not only ACCA but also Transport Manager I have passed while I had 3 children. So I really think that I have got some good tips for you to guys take on board and make sure that you pass those exams while having the little children. So the tip number 1 I have for you is time management. Obviously, having a children, it is not easy to just sit down and study whenever you want. You know, imagine you coming back from work and you just say, okay, I'm gonna sit down and study now. Well, it's not gonna happen because children's gonna need to eat something, then they're gonna need some time playing, then they're gonna need to be put to sleep, and maybe then you're gonna find the time to study. So it is important that you kind of set the time aside when you know that your children are not disturbing you, and then sit down and study. How I used to do it? I used to sit down every single evening and study, because that's when I knew that my children will not be disturbing me. And tip number 2, which I mentioned already, the key is to study every single day. That's right, you heard me right, every single day. Obviously, there will be days where maybe you just can't do it, but do try and sit down to study every single day. Now hear me out. The reason behind it is that if you just decide to sit down and study for the whole day, I can guarantee you that out of this whole day, you will not remember much the next day. So the idea behind studying little every day is to give a chunks of information for yourself to process, because your brain is more likely to remember it that way. And these days, there is so much studies done about how our brain works, how our memory works, that we can take advantage of that. And I can recommend a really great article for you, which I will link in the description below, which explains how the studies and how the whole process of studies works. Also, I've got a fantastic study planner for you on my website, so head over to the article that I've mentioned before and download it for free for yourself so you can plan it out, because the key to it is planning. You need to plan when and how much you're going to study so that you are well prepared ahead. You need to know how much time you need in order to study, how much time you need in order to prepare, how far are you from the exams, but it's all laid out there in the study planner for you to freely download it from my website. Tip number 3 is use one source of study and stick to it. Daddy's downstairs, I think Daddy's just come home. That was my child disturbing me. So even now when I'm recording the videos, they do sometimes disturb me, but that's okay. We've got children, we can do it, you know? So there is always a lot of material available online. Some of it is free, some of them you gotta pay for. And the temptation there is that you tend to kind of choose a lot of it at the same time and think that the more you actually have of material, the better it is. But guess what? Every study approach is different, and every material teaches you things from a different point of view. So if you're gonna keep on bombarding yourself with material, not only you're gonna spend a lot of time actually reading over the same thing, but also you might end up confusing yourself. So what you wanna do instead is find one material and stick to it. Also, you're gonna need some essential resources, such as, if you're studying accounts, you're gonna need a calculator, you're gonna need a good computer, you're gonna need some notebooks, some pen, paper, and things like that. I have linked this in the description below if you're interested to see which kind of study resources I've used and I recommend. Tip number 4, ask friends and relatives for help. You might be lucky enough to be living with your in-laws, or you may be lucky enough to have a childminder, or you may be lucky enough to have somebody that can help you. If you don't, try to ask your hubby or your partner. Any little help matters, because at the point where you're preparing for your exams and at the point that you need to study and your children really need entertaining at this time, there is no way, no chance you're going to be able to focus and study while they're running around and ultimately disturbing you. So it is important that you're not afraid to ask for help. I mean, some people are like, oh no, I'll manage, I'll do it myself. But it's okay to ask. People will be happy to help you, because everyone that knows you and everyone that hopefully supports you should be understanding enough to know that children really do require a lot of attention, and I'm sure they will be willing to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Or if you have older children, maybe just ask them to babysit for a while. Tip number 4, which probably will surprise you, is learn to love to study. I mean, you're probably thinking, she's crazy, who loves to study? Well, guess what? I never used to love study. And then I spoken to one of my friends and she said to me, do you know what? I actually enjoy studying. And I thought to myself, how can she enjoy studying? How can she love studying? It's a torture. But I've realized that the torture is when you're actually going to the exam. So that's what I actually hated. I hated going to the exam because it put me in such a pressure and gave me so much stress that I was literally feeling in pain in my stomach because I was so stressed out. But the actual learning process I did enjoy. This is why I've managed to do the degree, then to go into the ACCA, and then to do my Transport Manager, because I really enjoy studying. And until I understood that I enjoy doing it, I did not know that I actually love doing it. So yes, change your mindset. The mindset change, the mindset shift is so important for you. So if you don't actually necessarily love studying, perhaps read some book or find some good articles. You might be surprised just how a change in your perception can change your mindset. And tip number 6 is be easy on yourself when it comes to house chores. This might be quite a difficult one to those that are really house proud and to those that love their house being shiny and, super clean. And I do like my house being clean. But while I was preparing for my exams, while I was being really busy with that, I had to step away from some of my tasks and either share it with my husband or just let it slip. I mean, it's not gonna hurt if my floor wasn't mopped. You're gonna have to prioritize what is more important at this point in time. The exams and the whole education does not take forever, and the time that you're really intensively preparing for the exams is actually not that long. So you can allow your house to be a little bit less clean, or maybe just ask your hubby to help you. My husband was kind enough to share this responsibility with me because he understood that I'm doing this for our family. So perhaps change your husband's mind shift and ask him to help you if he's not usually very helpful. Or keep on saying husband. Obviously, if you're a daddy listening to this, ask your wife to help you, right? I don't want to sound like I'm just supporting mummies here, but yes, if you need a help, ask for it or hire a cleaner if you can afford. I couldn't afford to do that, so I've asked my husband to help me out. It is going to be crucial that you focus on what's important and prioritize the most important things. Just a short disclaimer, I wanted to say that what worked for me may not necessarily work for you. I've given you tips that worked the best for me, and at the point in time that I was studying, it really did help me to follow what I've just told you, and that's why I thought I'll break it down and deliver it to you guys, because I know that this might actually help you to organize yourself a little better and to maybe take things easier and change a little bit of your mindset, and hopefully you will find this useful and can apply some of them to your life. Now, if you have any tips that you wanted to share with us, please don't forget to leave it in the comments below, because I'm pretty sure that you would have some of the tips that would work for you that I might not cover in this video, so we would love to hear from you. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like that. I post twice a week, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.